So when starting building the game, we have a lot of different steps that we go through, both to envision what the game is going to be about before you even have the game, and that is very important, especially when you're building a new engine, because for a long time you don't have a game to look at. In the beginning, we started out even with early prototyping about the key thing in this game, which was the destruction. We can do that in very simple steps. We can play around with Lego, for instance, and do mock-up first-person videos of running around in that environment, just blowing things up. Part of that is for fun, part of that is also just to try out that, do we believe in this? And it might look a bit silly, but it actually gives us a lot of feeling for what it's going to be about. After that, we start moving closer towards creating the actual visual target for the game, and there's several steps in that. First a 2D animatic, then a 3D animatic, and then we start adding the sounds to create some kind of a picture of what we want to paint. And then later on, we spend a lot of time just rendering this actually as a just pre-rendered movie to set some kind of a bar what we're going to want to do, and especially then focusing on the squad behavior, the war going on, the first person, like how the gun handles, and more importantly, the destruction and the gameplay of the actual game. At that point, the game looks really good, actually, because it is a pre-rendered movie, but it's also very fake. And at this stage, we don't know much about the game. We don't really know how it's going to look, because we are only visualizing things in our heads and trying to communicate that to everyone that needs to get an understanding of what the game is going to be about.
Get out there! Go, go, go! Let's go! I got you covered, Miller. Move.
Requesting mortar strike at these coordinates.
Roger, we have the coordinates.
Watch out, Miller. Miller, get a grenade on him! Get down!
Since we developed the technology from the ground up, they are very crude in the beginning, the first steps. But as you move forward, the game starts to take shape. Getting some particles in and working in the game, or getting the first tree in the game, or getting the first destruction working on a house, for instance. While you do these kind of things to just prove out the different features in the game, the sidetrack is that we've been working on story, characters, all of these kind of things to create more what we want to have as the attitude and the tone of the game. And in order to prove that, we created another movie, which was like a crude cutscene being played up by the actual Frostbite game engine with correct animation data, with the characters, with the environments that we actually had. And we had a visual target before, but it was actually this movie that gave us more the true step of what our visual target should be, because this was rendered by the actual engine in itself.
You never stop talking, just shut up. God, look.
Move out! Keep moving, Haggard.
And your flank. Can't you just stand still and...
Story of friendship, sacrifice, and personal growth as two brothers are torn
Do we
apart.
look like brothers to you? Go, 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 go! Turn around back. Follow me. You want to call for a cab?
And when we saw that, that was when we got a really good feeling for what the tone in the game is going to be about. The dialogue between the characters and how they haggle and talk to each other. And that's when they start to come to life and you start to get a feeling for the story that you have created and the dialogue being played out by the characters.
Now can we focus on staying alive here, please?
Sarge!
What?
Incoming!
Sir? What?
I just want you to know, I think we make a great team.
Us? Well, what do you mean, us? A great team?
We're like a band of brothers, you know, like brothers in arms on a mighty...
So the main characters in the game are a squad of 4, of which you play Preston Marlowe, and is the main character that we follow throughout this adventure.
Private Preston Marlowe reporting for duty, sir.
You're the new guy in this squad, so you join up with these 3 more veteran members of V Company, which consist of Sarge, Redford, and Sweetwater. Fan säga, that's wrong. Sarge Haggard, Sarge Redford. Most other war games or games around war, they're often very tough and cool guys that really stand up for the country and really fight for the honor and the glory. These guys in Bad Company, they don't really have those motivations.
Gold sweets, 24 carats. What kind of motivation do you need?
We really sat down and tried to nail the characters in our minds before we even started to do anything on paper. And once you have done that, you have the balance between the characters, you start to build the story around these guys and their motivations and their kind of turnarounds during the evolution of the story.
Yeah? Says you in what army? I just always wanted to say that.
We're really happy about the voice actors that we found for this, and these characters really come to life in the studio while we're recording them.
Well, brother, go where I send thee. Tell me, how will you send me? I'm gonna send thee 4 by 4 because 4 was the 4 that's
It's 20 clicks behind enemy line. In Port Harbor, the Army's launching at. It's 20 clicks behind enemy line.
So we kind of sold the idea to them of the story and the script, and we discussed how to make them work together and how they would react if they were real characters. And we got so much out of that because we didn't have to direct every sentence and every word that they said, because they kind of built a relationship with the character, and then they just could, free roam and come up with cool ideas themselves.
Are your trousers chafing your thighs? Because mine are. There's a rash right down the inside there.
I think that's a little more information than we actually needed, Haggard.
I must confess, I have no longer control of glorious Sedaristan army or my bladder.
Preston, cat caught your tongue? No, that's a good line. We'll keep that in the game. I'm sure the kids will go crazy when they hear that. Won't know what to do. Keep saying, oh boy, can't wait to hear some more shit like that.
When you're done with the sound recordings and you have all the voices, you have the kind of the pacing of the scenes, then you go into the mocap studio and try to put some movement onto these characters. So by complementing the voice acting with the mocap actors, you actually get 2 sets of actors that can help drive this character and become what we're striving for.
I'm Sergeant Redford.
Call me Haggard.
My name is Preston.
I am Sweetwater, yes.
It's been hard work putting this thing together. People have, we're sweating blood. I mean, a lot of development teams do, but I mean, putting together a new next-gen engine, it's no cakewalk. Destruction really changes things, and that's been a bit of, not a surprise. I mean, we were expecting that it was going to, but I don't think quite to the degree that it has. It's fun from a gameplay perspective, but that kind of change in dynamic is really challenging from a design perspective too, because you have to think around problems a lot more, and that's something that we've really had to learn quickly and pick up quickly, and it's probably been our biggest design challenge, I think. But at the end of the day, it combines to give you a really solid experience, and an experience that we really think is fun.
That's the phrase. It's basically just that. So for the music of Bad Company, we wanted something that really fit the tone of the game. So we had to split it up in 2. Basically what we have is a jazzy, Lynch, Tarantino-inspired music with a jazzy organ, surf guitars, and something that was connected to the experience of the squad. But then we also have a bombastic orchestral score. So we went to New York and we worked with Please Music Works. It's a group of composers there, and we recorded with a 60-man orchestra. Even though we set limits to the composers with saying, hey, let's focus on cellos and percussion, it sounded so much bigger than I could ever imagine. When I was there in the room with the musicians, I had goosebumps, you know. It's such an amazing experience to hear it played properly. We've never heard the Battlefield theme sound this good, ever.
Most people think that it's a linear progression when we make a game, but I can sure tell you that that's not the case. Sometimes we get results that no one could anticipate at all.
Little David, play it on your hop, hallelujah, hallelujah. Little David, play it on your hop, hallelujah, hallelujah. Little David, play it on your hop, hallelujah, hallelujah. Little David, play it on your hop, hallelujah, hallelujah. Well, now David,
we had a great time, and the recordings were kick-ass. Can I say that? No.
His papa was a man they call none, but he never stopped working till his work was done. Little David, play it on your hop, hallelujah, hallelujah. Little David, play it on your hop, hallelujah, hallelujah. Little David, play it on your hop, hallelujah, hallelujah. Little David, play it on your hop,
Sorry about that.
hallelujah, hallelujah. Well, when I get up on the mountain top,
That's not good, is it?
We really tried to not hurt any animals during the production of Battlefield Bad Company. We almost made it.
It's a military game. You run around with a bunch of funny people and you shoot people. And you find gold and you win. Thank you.